Okay, sports fans, let's try this one more time. W's in the chat. If y'all can hear us loud and clear, we are live. Welcome to the Sports Behavior Podcast. I'm your host, OG the Beast. Here with me, as always, Chilltown 32. Unc, how you running once again?
Friday night, man. Basketball, playoffs coming up soon. Absolutely, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, playoffs coming up real soon for both sports, football and basketball.
Yeah.
Football sooner than later. It's gonna be real spicy. Shout out to the loyals on YouTube. I appreciate everybody that tunes in. If you're new to the channel, please drop a like. Don't forget to subscribe. If you like what you see, man, we doing this every Tuesday, Friday night, 8 p.m. Central Time. If anything, man, just drop in right here and come chat with us a little bit. You know, we got some loyals up in here as well. Garo, shout out to
Barbershop.
Yeah.
It's the barbershop. You ain't gotta get a you ain't even gotta get a haircut. Just come sit down.
Just come chill. Just come chop it up
come,
with
come
us.
hang.
You ain't even gotta get no haircut, man. Just come hang with us. You know, we like to keep it light on Barbershop Fridays. You know what I'm saying? We just like to kick back. We just like to chill and converse with y'all. But we got a lot of things to talk about. We're gonna get into these Celtics today. We all about lists. Y'all know I'm the king of the starting fives. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna create the most underrated starting five in NBA history. You know, we're gonna talk a little bit about what else we got on the docu. We got MVP candidates, who's in, who's out, who's the best player in the league, all the things that's been in discussion on my TikTok as of late. People have been asking me. I'm gonna answer them right here, right now. But first thing I want to get into is these raggedy ass Boston Celtics. Yeah, I said it. Celtics fans, I'm talking to y'all. Players in general, these raggedy ass Boston Celtics. Y'all have took a complete backseat from where y'all was at last year. It makes absolutely no sense to me how a squad with this much talent on it can be as abysmal of what they've been displaying as of late. I made a TikTok yesterday after these boys lost to the Knicks after being up 25 points into the third quarter. I made a TikTok, and I said, look, Evan Fournier is beating the shit out the Celtics single-handedly right now. Who's guarding him? Marcus Smart. Couldn't do a damn thing with him. But it's a difference in coaching that I'm seeing from Udoka and Tibbs in that matchup. Difference in coaching. Udoka got clearly out-coached in this game. I'm thinking they need to bring Brad Stevens back. What's wrong with the Celtics offense, OG? I'll tell you what's wrong with it. I said on the TikTok that Jayson Tatum is not that guy. Now, a lot of people are in love with Jayson Tatum, but I've always been the guy that said Jaylen Brown might be better. He might be better. And maybe they prioritize, and Unc apparently disagrees with what I'm saying. Maybe they prioritizing the wrong guy on some OKT type shit. One of the reasons why Kevin Durant left is he said, hey, he felt like they were prioritizing Russell Westbrook. And obviously we see now that was the wrong move. I think Boston may be making that same mistake. A lot of the offense has been running through Jayson Tatum lately, and I'm not mad at his numbers. Tatum right now is averaging 25, 8, and 4. But 85% from the free throw line. That's good, but it's down from what he was at a year ago, right? 33% from three, which is an average three-point percentage for an average shooter. But Jayson Tatum was above average last year. He shot at 38%. 41% from the field for Jayson Tatum. 41% from the field for Jayson Tatum. I want to reiterate that. Last year, he shot 46%. I don't give a damn what you averaging if your splits look like this. What's the issue with the Boston Celtics offense this year? One, the coaching has been horrendous. They have Marcus Smart, who's a great 3-and-D player, one of the best 3-and-D players in the league, right? Everybody say, oh, Boston should try to reconsider the point guard position, get a true point guard, right? Find somebody to take the ball out of the hands of Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum some more, right? Marcus Smart has been complaining about that. He's on record complaining about that. They don't pass the ball, right? They got Robert Williams, who had 7 blocks last night. He's a great paint protector for you. Alters shots when penetrating the basket, all of that. Every team needs one of those. They got two stars in Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum, both under the age of 25 years old. Both young cats, right? They got pretty much everything you need to succeed. They got veteran leadership, or lack thereof, in Al Horford, who's also a guy that has a little bit of defense to him and can shoot the long ball. He can space the floor for you down the stretch in these games. They pretty much got the formula to at least be competitive in the Eastern Conference. This team is right now, what's their record?
2 games under 500.
18-21. 3 games under 500. 3 games under 500. 18-21.
Mm-hmm.
That's good enough to be 11th in the Eastern Conference. That's horrendous. With the roster that they have in place, 18-21 is completely unacceptable, especially coming from a Brad Stevens-led offense, right? Which involved a lot of player movement, a lot of motion, a lot of ball movement. Tatum was still able to get his shots up. Brown was still able to get their shots up. But schematically, Brad Stevens was able to put these guys in a position to where they can score it more efficiently, which is why both of these guys' numbers is down from last year. Now, I mentioned Jayson Tatum, Unc. Give me a second here. Before I toss it to you. I mentioned Jayson Tatum, right? But I didn't mention Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is averaging 24-6 with 2 assists. Not really a big facilitation guy, right? Shooting 77% from the free throw. That can be better. He shot nearly 80% last year. 36% from 3. He shot 39 last year.
Right.
45% from the field. Now, these splits are solid right now. But he shot 48% last year. See, all the numbers are down from a year ago. And I think it's more than just on the players when it comes to that. I think it's a lot to do with coaching, schematically putting your guys in the right position to succeed. Because down the stretch in the fourth quarter, this team in particular likes to play a lot of ISO ball. And you know what that does? That leads to bad shots, unwanted shots, lack of team help. Players get disengaged because they haven't touched the ball for 3 or 4 possessions. Why? Because Jayson Tatum is shooting the ball every time he touches it. I seen a game where Jaylen Brown a couple of nights ago, maybe earlier in the week, shot like 7 for 36.
I was against the Knicks, as a matter of fact.
It's unacceptable.
Yeah, 7 for 31.
Like, this is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So not only does this fall on Jayson Tatum, and I'm going to get to why I said in that TikTok that he's not that guy after I toss it to Unc, but this not only falls on the shoulders of Jayson Tatum, not only falls on the shoulders of Jaylen Brown, but this falls on the shoulders of the head coach as well. And his inability to put these young cats in a position to succeed at the highest level of basketball. Unc, what you got?
Now, I can appreciate the coaching. You know, Udoka, it sounded like a great hire right from the beginning. You know, he's from the Popovich tree. Right? And because he's from the Popovich tree, he automatically commands respect.
Mm-hmm.
He was on a championship team. He was a player. He was on Pop bench. So he got to know what he's talking about. Well, you also have to take under consideration, too, when you talk about this Celtic team, I equate it to the Trailblazers in the aspect that, you know, what did they do to upgrade this roster?
Right.
We talking about a team that was in the East Finals twice in the last 5 years. So it's obvious that we ain't that far away, right? It's obvious that we not that far away. But we have a lot of questions. Well, the main question that we have is, who's the leader of our group? Who is our guy? Who is running the show? Right? Who is the guy in the huddle that's asking the question, can you score the rest of the points? I'll deal with 24. I'm coming to you the next trip. Who is the guy that's saying, I'm going to lock this guy down? Who is that guy who's the primary ball handler? Well, we don't have that right now. But you know what we do have? We got a lot of buckets, right? We do have that. So I'm looking at a guy in Jaylen Brown who's been out of the lineup for 13 games. And in the 13 games he's been in the lineup, the Celtics are 5 games over 500. Not only are they 5 games over 500, Jayson Tatum is 30-9 and shooting over 45% when Jaylen Brown is out the lineup. Problem that I'm having is we haven't established between these two guys who is the guy. They still look like they're trying to one-up each other.
Mm-hmm.
And in the process of them one-upping each other, they're stepping on each other. And in them stepping on each other, the rest of the guys are just standing around and watching this, as opposed to, where's the leader at going, you over here, you're over here, this is what we're doing on offense, we're not coming to you, we're going to you. Who is our floor leader? We don't have that. I had the Celtics at 5th before the season started. If the season ended today, they out the playoffs.
Yep.
And I don't mean that they're out of the play-in tournament. They're out of the playoffs. They're done.
Yep.
They're a lottery team.
Yep.
And because of that, a lot of that does have to do with coaching. Because again, Udoka, I was very happy about him becoming a head coach. Absolutely, I was. But the question, and I wasn't, because I heard you talk about Marcus Smart, and I wasn't that objective to moving him in the offseason. The reason why was because I think and you and me had this conversation already, I think that Jaylen Brown is an all-league defender. So I think that losing the defense from Marcus Smart, I thought that you would make that up with Jaylen Brown, and you would get buckets. And in the process of moving him, we could get ourselves a floor leader, somebody like Rondo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a better version of a younger version of Rondo, somebody that's going to get everybody involved, somebody that's going to keep us steady. Only except this roster looks like, and I mentioned before about the Trailblazers, this roster, they haven't improved it. Right? I can appreciate Richardson in the lineup. Absolutely. Robert Williams, I'm a huge Robert Williams fan. Led the SEC in rebounding. He's actually turning into the big that I thought he was going to be. Absolutely. But the leadership problem is where we are. Who is running the show? Who is our floor leader? Who is our guy on offense? Who is our anchor on defense? If we don't have that, and the most important thing is, who is the guy on the bench? Because Udoka, there are times where he does look like a deer in headlights.
Yeah.
Where he doesn't make the necessary adjustments in order to keep us in the game. And in order, not just to keep us in the game. For example, last night, Robert Williams had 3 fouls in the middle of the third quarter. Instead of, he could have stood to sit for just a couple of minutes, right? Just sit for a couple of minutes so we could get the momentum back and get Hartford more involved defensively and then put him back in. But instead, he keeps him on the floor. And what happens? He ends up picking up another quick foul.
Mm-hmm.
That's coaching right there.
Yep.
That's absolute coaching right there. And once again, Chris, I can't reiterate enough that being a young coach and being new, I mean, that does merit having some. I can absolutely you can give them some leeway with that, but with these mistakes, they can't be continuous, and it's costing the Celtics, and it's going to cost them later on in the season where they may very well be out of the playoff mix.
Yeah, that's it's sad to say, and I seen somebody in the comments say Kyle Lowry would have been a great fit for them. You know,
he would be great for them.
He would be great. Leadership qualities, big-time leadership qualities. He could shoot the long ball, play defense, great 3-and-D guy, older veteran, champion, been through it, you know, done it all, seen it all, right?
Yep.
Jayson Tatum in an interview said he got so used to being in the Eastern Conference Finals that he thought it was the norm, the success that they were having, until he realized how hard it is to obtain that. You learn to appreciate it. And I seen a comment under that statement that he said, and this comment got me and it hit me, and I didn't even think about it until I read it. I said, "Damn, he right." After that, the comment said, "Jayson Tatum is already talking about the glory days, and he's 23 years old." I said, "Wow, he's already looking behind him."
Right.
That's troubling to me. When I read that, I said, that's troubling because he already feels defeated. Like, can I get there again? I took getting there for granted. Can I duplicate that success, right? So what I think the Celtics' biggest issues is they have no identity. We talked about it. Who's the leader of this team? They don't have one, right? They got no identity. They play way too much iso ball, especially down the stretch, which leads to nothing but horrible possessions and tough shots. Jayson Tatum is a tough shot maker, but I think coaching should put you in the best position to score in your spots, right? Draw up plays for these cats. Brad Stevens was doing that. It was a lot of motion. Everybody was happy in his offense under Brad Stevens.
It's easy to guard, though. That's the thing with that when you run an offense like that,
you bailing guys out.
Defensively, more than anything, you are absolutely bailing guys out. And it's easy to guard when you just got one guy. That's why James Harden struggled so much in the playoffs. for that specific reason, because all you doing is you got one guy pounding the basketball, and all we doing is we standing around and we watching him. Now, as much as I love Jayson Tatum, he's so much more effective when we got action off the basketball.
Yeah.
He is so much more effective when it's just 2 or 3 dribbles and he can go. As opposed to we get him in ISO situations. Now, don't get me wrong. There are instances where we got to draw it up, where we got to give you the basketball and we got to let you go. That can't be every trip because that's easy to guard. And that's where he struggles. And that's where the Celtics struggle, especially in the meat and potatoes of the game.
No doubt about it. And that's what I disagree with when it comes to it. So basically it starts at the top. You know, you got Brad Stevens as the executive. Udoka's the head coach. And then you got 2 guys that seem to be jockeying for position. And this is what you go through when you get 2 young players. I've seen it happen through the history of the NBA where you get 2 guys that haven't won nothing, that want to be the guy, Shaq and Kobe. Both of these guys, even they won and still couldn't figure out a way to get along. Why? Because Shaq was the dude. Kobe wanted his own team. He wanted to show that he was the dude, and he wanted the organization to prioritize him over Shaq. T-Mac, Vince Carter. Both of them guys was young. Mac wanted his own squad. They looked like they was prioritizing VC. He said, look, I'm out of here. Went to Orlando, did his thing. I've seen it over. You rarely get a Stockton and Malone, where these guys come in and they complement each other and they grow together and they end up being all-time greats together because they understand the common goal.
Right.
It's a lot of egotistical ways in the mindset of these basketball players. Everybody want to be the man just cause. Cam said it best on Paid in Full. Everybody want to be the man just cause. Sometimes you got to put yourself in a position to make other moves. It's just facts, straight like that.
Right.
But
now, when I look at what the Celtics are doing, you already know how I feel. Jayson Tatum is my favorite player under 25. No doubt about it. He's my favorite player under 25. And like I said, we're talking about 30-9 with Jaylen Brown out of the lineup. The difference is they have been winning when those 2 was in the lineup before this season. Again, twice in 4 years, they're in the East Finals. Now, what I don't want to get misconstrued is I don't want to get misconstrued that Jayson Tatum is looking to the past and thinking, all right, well, that was it. Well, no, it just looks like that right now because of the position that they're in. I think that he recognizes that, well, it's a lot harder to not just to get there, but to stay there. He recognizes that, and he knows the work that needs to be put in, but he sees that that's not going on right now with the unit that I'm on.
You think they miss Brad Stevens or what?
I do think that they miss Brad Stevens. I think that they miss that leadership on the bench that they don't have. Absolutely. They miss the guy. They miss an X and O guy. They miss a guy who calms them down. They miss a guy who can, out of a time. I haven't seen Udoka out of a timeout draw me up something that'll get me a quick bucket.
Exactly.
I haven't seen that.
Right. And that's what he's lacking, man. And maybe he'll learn it with experience. First year head coach. We'll see. But I feel like coming from a schematic guy like Pop, under Coach Pop, you should know a thing or two, man. A couple of tricks up your sleeve, man, if you was really paying attention in that locker room. But that's neither here nor there. Boston Celtics, get your shit together, man. Straight like that. You don't want to get everybody gets sensitive out here. You don't want to get talked about, then ball out because you got way too much talent, to not be doing your thing. But it's a lot of NBA seasons, all-time great NBA seasons, right? When we think about it, we think of the 1962 season, right? That's where I'm going to start at. All the way across the board. Elgin Baylor had himself a year. We had Wilt Chamberlain average 50. We had Oscar Robertson put up a triple-double. Bill Russell averaged 22 rebounds. I mean, it was a great year, right? Then you move on. You got Michael Jordan's 88 season, the 93 season, the 96 season, pretty much all the seasons, you can count for Michael Jordan. That's just, Bron's 2013 season, Bron's 2009 season. You got a lot of Steph Curry's 2016 season. But all of those get mentioned. Shaq's 2000 season, how can I forget that? Westbrook's 2017. All of those get mentioned, right? When people think of all-time great single seasons. So, I want to ask you, what is the most underrated single season of all time to you that flies under the radar? I want to hear that. I'm interested to hear this.
It's real interesting you mention that because those seasons that you just talked about from those guys, they overshadow other guys' great seasons. So, for example, like you just talked about with, Wilt went 50 and 26 that year.
Yeah.
Well, nobody talked about the fact that Elgin went almost 40 and 20.
Right.
And nobody talking about that. He went almost 40 and 20 and finished fourth in league MVP votes. Right? So when I think about, what James did, we completely disregard the fact that, Carmelo Anthony led the league in scoring that year and had a great season. I was looking at Adrian Dantley's 82-83 season when the 76ers won the NBA championship. Adrian Dantley went 31-7.
He was such a dog.
Nobody was talking about that. But the one guy, the one season which got overshadowed, which when Jordan when Jordan, in 87-88 was the best offensive and defensive player in the game. He was 200 blocks, 200 steals, averaged 35 a game. Everybody was so up in arms about that, and we completely forgot about, Bird went 30 and almost 10 that year.
Yeah, yeah.
Bird went, that's 2 seasons after he won the league MVP. Bird went almost 30 and 10. Not only did he go almost 30 and 10, he went 50, 40, 90 that year for the second year in a row, right? For the second year in a row, he was second in the league in free throw percentage.
Damn, he could have definitely bagged the MVP that year.
That's what I'm talking about.
And they're probably the number 1 seed in the East.
I was just getting ready to say won 57 games that year.
Yeah.
Won 57 games. They was number 1 seed in the East. Bird was 39-7.
Damn.
How we talking?
He twisted Jordan's arm off to get that. Like Jordan had to do some strange things to get that MVP, man.
That's the word right there, B. Chris, the word that you just used was it right there. Some strange things where we saw Jordan like, wait a minute. I don't know if we can't keep it away from him this season.
Man.
As much as we want to give it to this dude, because like I said, Bird went 39-7, shot 50, 40, 90. The Celtics won 57 games that year, finished number 1 in the East, and it got completely overshadowed. It could have
been voters fatigue, to be honest with you. Didn't Bird already have 2 at that point?
No, he won it 3 years in a row, and that was 2 years after he had won it the third time.
So it was voters fatigue then. That's probably what it was.
And even still, right?
Because he definitely deserved it.
Let's just say, for the sake of argument, it was voters fatigue. If we got a dude running around today that's 39-7, and they got the best team in the Eastern Conference, is he the league MVP?
Yeah, no doubt. 50, 40, 90, no doubt.
50, 40, 90, no question about it. I thought that was the most underrated season because I saw Fat Lever, my man Fat Lever, the 88-89 season. He went almost 29-8. And the year before that, he went 19-9-8 again.
Yeah.
And it got overshadowed by Magic going 24-12. So
it's a lot of them.
But that one season with Bird, that 87-88 season, I'm like, nobody talks about that.
Nobody
Bird was
does.
Incredible that year.
That's a great pick. That is a great pick. Well, I went with the 93-94 season. That's the year Jordan was retired. The league was up for grabs. Hakeem Olajuwon walks away with, every award that year. He balled out. But a guy that also balled out that doesn't get the praise and went completely under the radar was David Robinson. David Robinson that year was 30-10 on 3 blocks a game. Led the San Antonio Spurs to 55 wins that season. David Robinson had 200 blocks and 150 steals that year. Talk about dominance on both ends of the court. They
won the scoring title too that year too. Don't leave that part out.
Led the league in scoring. 4th in the league in total offense, 9th in the league in total defense, all on the back of David Robinson. Incredible season. I'm going to take Unc words. What are we saying about a guy that's walking around giving you 30-10 with 3 blocks, 200 blocks, over 200 blocks and 150 steals? Dude is we talking 55 wins? We talking potential MVP. So it's like, I don't think people talk about that 93 season. It gets overshadowed by everything Kareem did that year, or Hakeem did that year. Led his team to the NBA Finals with a bag of garbage. I think Sam Cassell was the second best player on the squad. that team was terrible, and they won it all. And he basically willed them to winning it all. So everything Hakeem got, he deserved, no doubt about it. But I just wanted to share some light on my man David Robinson, the Admiral.
Don't leave out, like you just said, he led the league in scoring. He won a scoring title on the last night against the Clippers. He has 71.
Shaq. He beat out Shaq.
He beat Shaq out there. Yeah, he has 71 on the last night. Are you kidding me?
On the last night by like a decimal. 1/10 of a point. He beat out Shaq.
That was it. Beat Shaq out. He has 71 on the last night. David Robinson had an incredible year that year. Nobody talking about it.
Yep.
Why? Because Olajuwon just was incredible that year.
And he had 5 triple-doubles on that season as well, too, as a big man.
Damn. Nobody even talking about it. Nobody.
Nobody.
It's nuts.
With blocks.
Nobody. Right. Nobody talking about it. Nobody talking about that.
It's crazy. But speaking of the 90s, right? I was reading some posts on I believe it was Instagram or Twitter. It might have been Twitter, right? Where people were comparing different duos of all time. Like they were like, okay, what if you had Clay and Steph versus Jordan and Pippen, who would win? Or, what two would you take? And you could basically build your own roster around these two guys, right? So I said, okay, let me take two guys and let me put them together and let's choose the best one. But to add a little spice to it, the ones you don't choose can bite you in your ass because they are in the division, right? So this is the game we going to play. I'm going to name a duo. I'm going to name a few sets of duos, right? What we got? 1, 2, 3. We got 4 sets of duos, right? So whatever duo you pick, the other 3 will be in your division. So you got to face 2-3 times a year. They're going to be biting you in your ass when you progress. Right. Whoever you're gonna choose, you gotta choose wisely. Now, I don't know if these guys make sense together, but this is what we're gonna roll with. First duo, Gilbert Arenas and Klay Thompson. Second duo, Chauncey Billups and Clyde Drexler. Third duo, Tim Hardaway and Ray Allen.
I like that one.
Fourth duo, Vince Carter and Dame Lillard.
Like that one too.
Now, who you starting your franchise with that you got to put role players, non-all-stars around these guys, right? These are your 2 cornerstone pieces to move forward with to try to win an NBA championship in whatever era. It doesn't even matter. Who you starting?
Well, take Gil and Klay Thompson off the table for me. And the reason why is because Gil like to shoot the basketball. That's all he want to do. Is he want to shoot the basketball, so I ain't really tripping on. I think he's gonna screw Klay Thompson up. So I don't want them two together. I'm gonna pass on them. I like Tim Hardaway. I do like Tim Hardaway. I'm sorry, you told me Tim Hardaway and Ray Allen.
Yeah.
Or was it Tim Hardaway? Okay, I like Tim Hardaway and Ray Allen. Only difference is that I think that I can get better production out of my point guard spot than Tim Hardaway. Even though I like Tim Hardaway, right? I think I can get better production out of them. I also like Dame and I also like Vince Carter because now we looking at buckets. We ain't stopping nobody, but we looking at buckets.
We're stopping a soul.
We ain't stopping nobody. No, we not. But the group the duo that I like the best is I think that Chauncey Billups is a better version of Terry Porter. And him and Clyde Drexler together, I'm loving that group. And building that Trailblazer unit around them two, I think we're going to make a lot of noise. If not, get back to the finals. Because, like I said, I love Terry Porter. I think Chauncey Billups is a better version of him.
That's a great comparison.
And with that being said, I saw what Drex and Terry Porter did together. So with that, you take Terry Porter out the lineup and put in Chauncey Billups, we definitely making noise, no doubt.
I'm not mad at that. To be honest with you, I didn't even pick one because it's hard. You dismissed Gilbert Arenas and Klay Thompson, but I think that backcourt can be dangerous. All Gil want to do is shoot, but also all Klay want to do is shoot. Gil has the decision-making ability in his hand because he's the primary ball handler, right?
Correct.
But I feel like if you put a dominant head coach, somebody with some say, somebody with some clout, right? If I get Phil Jackson up in there, if I get Pop up in there, one of these all-time greats to be my head coach, right? Somebody that can implement some ball movement. Now, we ain't never seen Gilbert Arenas in a position to where he's in a winning situation. So who knows how his mindset will be if he says, hey, I need this guy Klay Thompson to win. Plus, he ain't never played with a guy in the caliber of Klay Thompson. That's an interesting pick to me. Gilbert Arenas was a dog. He can get it off the dribble. His passing is underrated. He can shoot the long ball from distance, sort of like Steph Curry, which is why I put the comparison together. I don't know. That's something to look into. Then you got Chauncey and you got Clyde. Chauncey's a guy, his assist numbers wasn't that big in his career, but he can facilitate. And Chauncey's selfless. He's not a guy that's going to take all the shots. No, he's not a guy that's trying to score 20, 25 points a game. He's a guy that's just going through the floor of the offense and picking and choosing his spots. And you put him with a bucket getter like Clyde Drexler, we're going to talk about, at least me, I'm going to talk about Clyde a little bit later on in this show. But then we got Tim Hardaway and Ray Allen. This may be the pick. This may be where I go with this. Tim Hardaway, to me, one of the greatest handles of all time, underrated passer. Just Tim Hardaway was such a dog to me coming up watching him, even with Miami. Tim Hardaway is such an animal to me. Like, he's a bona fide bucket getter. And you pair him with another bona fide bucket getter, a lot of people going to ask, okay, well, which Ray Allen you getting? I take prime Ray. Both of these guys that can handle the ball, get to their spots whenever they want to.
Seattle Ray or Milwaukee Ray?
Milwaukee.
Which Ray you like? So you want
I'm
Milwaukee
talking
Ray?
prime, Milwaukee.
And I knew you was going to say Tim Hardaway because you a homer and Tim Hardaway from Chicago. I knew you was going to say that. I knew you was going to say that. I knew you was going to say that. I just knew it because you a homer.
Yes, sir.
And Tim Hardaway being from the south side of Chicago.
You damn right.
I'm not surprised at all.
This is who I'm going with. Give me Tim. Give me Ray Allen and Tim Hardaway. Give me Mr. Crossover. I need that. All of that.
Killer crossover.
All of that. He used to hit folks with the simplest move. Boom, boom. And it's lay. Like, Tim Hardaway was so tough and he was quick. His first step was like nasty, man. Last one, Vince Carter and Dame. I like that too. But give me Tim Hardaway and Ray Allen, man. I'm gonna put some shooters around them, space to flow out a little bit, let Timmy get the work in. That 1-2 pick and roll, nasty, man. Who you guarding coming off that 1-2 pick and roll? Nobody. You try to trap the ball, it's over with. You're gonna have to rotate. You try to switch, it's over with. We pulling up. Like, the game is nasty at this point. But speaking of being nasty, it's been a lot of guys in the league balling out this year. Not as many as I would have thought, because, a few years back, the scoring for the NBA was at like an all-time high. It was like 15 people averaging 25-plus points just a few years ago. Not quite that.
Which is nuts.
Yeah.
Which is nuts,
Not
by the way.
quite as nuts. Not quite that this season. But we do got some great players and great scorers this year, right? So we got top. I want to know your MVP ladder. I'll go first on this one, right? MVP ladder. First of all, who's the best player in the world? I was asked that question because I made a TikTok because people kept saying, "Oh, gee, can you please say something nice about LeBron?"
Oh, here we go.
Can you say something nice about LeBron? Every time I see you talking, it's negative about LeBron.
Here we go.
So what I did was the last show, I said something nice about LeBron with intent on me posting it to TikTok so people can shut the hell up. I mentioned how he been balling out over the past 9 games. They've been taking L's. And he has. It's facts, right? But I've come to the realization that LeBron James may still be the best player in the world, right? He may still be that by the way that he's been playing.
It's not ridiculous.
Then I went to bed. And I woke up and I realized it's still Kevin Durant. I don't know. I might have had something that's in Unc cup over there. You see how you just put that brim up to the top and took a little sip. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kevin Durant is the best player in the world. Unc, who you think is the best player in the world?
I said this before the season started, and I still stand on it. It's Giannis. Giannis is the best player on the planet. Absolutely. 28, 12, and 6. He got a higher PER this year than he had in the 18-19 season when he won the league MVP. Brooklyn is a game behind Brooklyn. Milwaukee is a game behind Brooklyn, and they served them tonight, by the way. They're a game behind Brooklyn for the number 2 spot in the East. His contribution on the defensive end of the basketball, I already know that going downhill, can't nobody cover him. Nobody can cover him. In the half court, in transition, can't nobody cover him. But when I see him doing things like what I saw him do in the finals, coming up with that big block, well, he did it again a couple of nights ago, where he comes up with big blocks. He comes up with big defensive stands. He comes up with big assists. That's who Giannis is. And I've mentioned this to you in the past, and I've also brought it up to other people. Why do we not value the complete player more than we do? Why do we care just about this dude who is 28 a game or who is 30 a game, as opposed to this guy who's also 28 a game, but he cleans glass? He also is a great rim protector. He's also a great playmaker. He's also great in transition. Why don't we value that guy? Because we don't value that guy nearly as much as we should, which is why I see Giannis as the best player on the planet.
I'm not mad at that. And I think the answer to that is people like to see things done a certain way. And when it's not done the way that they like it to be done, even if it's done in an efficient way.
That's you. You in particular. I can't put the ball in the basket. That's you.
Real talk.
That is you.
I'm one of them. Damn it.
Yes.
You damn right.
That is you.
I like shit done my way. When I see something I like, and if you're not emulating what I like in the way that I like it, I'm going to have a question about it. You damn tootin'. MVP ladder. Let's discuss the top 5 MVP candidates this season so far. I'll go first, right?
I'm listening.
At 5, I'm going to start from the bottom. At 5, I got Joker. What's Denver's record? I don't think it's too hot right now. Off the top of my head,
7th place right now.
Yeah, that's why he's 5, because Joker is balling out. He's averaging 25, 14, and 7. This is the highest rebounding numbers he's ever put up. 25, 14, and 7. That's exquisite for Joker, and he's shooting at an efficient clip. At 4, I got Giannis. Giannis should probably be higher, but these 3 guys I got ahead of him, I believe, have more potential than win it. Not even due to voters' fatigue, but just due to the fact that, not even by the numbers, I think they're having a better season. Giannis' season is kind of going unnoticed right now. It's real quiet. Ain't too many people talking about it. But I got Giannis at 4. At 3, I got Steph. Steph was leading the way for a while, but he's been a little bit inconsistent as of late. Not only when he was trying to break the 3-point record, then after he broke it, he caught back on track. Then he fell off again. Then he caught back on track. Now he's in another slump. So Steph's inconsistencies this year, especially his shooting splits, is down from a year ago, everything but free throws. That's a problem to me. You know, I need my MVP to be on top of their game. Plus, Steph ain't really had no MVP moments. Maybe things will help when Klay come back. He's expected to come back on Sunday. Steph Curry is my favorite player. I would love to see him win the MVP this year, but he got to get it together. He's averaging 25, 5, and 6, or 26, 5, and 6. Great numbers, but I need to see them shooting splits get a little bit better, Steph. Come on now. At 2, I got Kevin Durant, who's the best player in the NBA right now. Kevin Durant is having a phenomenal season, averaging 37 and 5. He makes it look easy, easier than anybody could ever make it look in the history of the game. He puts the ball in the hole at an efficient rate. For instance, Kyrie had 22 points in his return. 11 of them was in the fourth quarter. Nobody realized Kevin Durant had 40 that game. Like, motherfuckers looked at the box score like, damn, KD
Nobody
had 40?
talking about it.
Because he don't need a lot of shots to get his buckets. He's quiet. The most efficient, arguably the most efficient shooter of all time. Like, it's crazy.
He's in that conversation. Yeah, he is.
That's my number 2. But number 1, what's that I smell?
Homer. Here we go. A homer.
What's that I
Homer
smell?
pick. Uh-oh.
Give it to DeRozan.
I knew I was coming. Here coming the homer. I knew it.
Give it to DeMar. Yes.
I knew it.
DeMar DeRozan is your MVP, Chicago, and he better win it. Too many MVP moments. Way too many. Game winner after game winner after game winner. Willing his team down the stretch in the fourth quarter. leading the league in fourth quarter scoring. Mr. Fourth Quarter, averaging 27, 5, and 4. 27 is a career high for DeMar. We need that. Oh, we need that. DeMar DeRozan should be the front runner for the MVP. Y'all need to be talking about this more times than not. DeMar DeRozan needs to get his respect because everybody doubted him out. What are the elements you need to win the MVP, right? The entire NBA fan base is confused on what it takes to win the MVP. When I hear all these blog sites, all these social media sites talking about, well, this guy's averaging 27 and 11. This guy's only averaging 25. He should win the MVP. It's not how it works, people. Sorry to let you know. That's not how it works. The criteria for winning the MVP in this order. Record. Are you winning? That matters. You need to be a top 3 seed. I can only name a handful of people throughout the history of the NBA that have won the MVP that were not top 3 seeds. Number 2, you need the storyline. This is the second most important thing. It has to make sense for the league. Derrick Rose, the kid from Chicago, first overall pick, willing his team to victories. You need the storyline. Narrative. That's what sells. That's what the NBA looks for. When the voters look. That's how
Russ won it.
Exactly. That's
how Russ won it.
Kevin Durant loses him. He's all by himself. Isolation. Mm-hmm. One-man army. Triple-double. First time since 1960s. The narrative matters. That's what, when a lot of people say, oh, this guy should have won it over that guy. Well, he didn't fit these 3 criteria. And no matter how you want to put it, no matter what you say or how you feel about it, this is a necessity. Last but not least, stats. But not least, stats. The reason why I say stats are last is I've seen a guy win it averaging 13 points. I've seen a guy win it averaging 17 points. I've seen a guy win it averaging 22 points. I've seen a guy win it averaging 30. I've seen a guy not win it average 37. I've seen a guy not win it average 35. Both of those guys, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. Kobe lost it to a guy that averaged 17. Mike lost it to a guy that averaged 24, Magic Johnson. Stats don't matter. That's not the end-all, be-all. The stats...
They matter. It's just that they ain't...
It's not the end-all, be-all. The stats portion of the MVP award is, and he's giving you 27 and 5. That's how the stat... It's not MVP? Okay, what's he averaging? No, that shit don't matter. Team success, narrative, statistics, in that order. That's what matters. DeMar DeRozan is having team success. Number 1 record in the Eastern Conference. DeMar DeRozan has the narrative. Everybody doubted him. Everybody thought him signing in Chicago was the worst pick. LeBron didn't want him in L.A. He chose Westbrook over him. Everybody thought he was over the hill, washed up. Everybody thought he went to San Antonio to die, to retire. But he didn't. That's the narrative. The third thing is stats. He's averaging 27, 5, and 4. Those are great MVP numbers.
They are. Now, with that being said, it would look so much better if he didn't have another dude on his team averaging 26 a game. It would just look so much better.
If that's the case, we gotta take KD off the list then.
It would just look so much better. Actually, we don't. And the reason why we don't is because KD is leading the league in scoring. James Harden ain't close to that. So that's not true.
But he's still giving you like right there. 24 and 8.
I think he's like 23. He's actually averaging almost a triple-double. He's like 20. I think he's 23, like 9 and 10, something like that, something nuts like that. But with that being said, it would just look so much better for DeMar if he didn't have another guy running with him that was doing something similar in terms of numbers. Now, when you talk about what DeMar is doing overall, I mean, he's got the second highest defensive rating on the team. He's got I think of the starters, he's tied for the highest offensive rating. So it does help that Chicago got the best record in the Eastern Conference. So we have to, as much as people don't want to talk about it, we have to have this conversation about DeMar DeRozan being the league MVP, which is kind of ironic because considering last year, I mean, Utah had the #1 record in the NBA. They had the #1 record in the Western Conference. They had the best record in the NBA. Donovan Mitchell didn't get a sniff last year. He didn't get a sniff. Rudy Gobert, who averaged almost 20 and 20 at one point, didn't get a sniff last year. So it's a little different in that aspect.
Derrick Rose got a first place vote, and they
right. Derrick Rose ended up getting the first place vote last year, and Donovan Mitchell didn't. He didn't get a sniff. I'm still flabbergasted by that. But with that being said, I look at DeMar DeRozan. He's at the. I think I got him at 5. Man, we have to have that conversation, and at some point he could definitely move up. And I got Curry at 4 because Curry's been so inconsistent. At some point, Curry could actually play himself out of the MVP talk.
He can.
The way his inconsistent play, he could absolutely play himself out of the MVP talk. No question about that. At number 3, and I'm gonna get roasted for this, but I got Joker at number 3. And the reason why I got Joker at number 3 is because I think that they Oklahoma City. You take Joker off that unit. That's who I think that they are. You take Joker off that unit, I think they sink right to the bottom of the Western Conference. He leads the league in defensive rebounding. He leads the league in plus minus, and he also leads the league. He also leads the league in win shares. So they ain't going nowhere without him. When you're talking about wins and losses. Now you had already mentioned the downside to this is they 7th in the West.
Yeah.
If they were higher. If they were 5, if they were 4 or 3, I think that he'd be the runaway guy. Same thing with James. That's why I can't put James in there just yet. Even though James lead the league in scoring since he's been back in the lineup, right? And the Lakers, by the way, are 4-0 with James playing at the 5. They 4-0 with James playing at the 5. And I think he's 34 and 11 over the last 7 games. But the Lakers I think the Lakers a game out of the 5th spot. I'll tell you this though. If he keep playing like he's playing, and the Lakers end up with a top 3 seed, it's going to be hard to keep that league MVP out of his hands.
That's true. Especially
considering how he's playing.
With the narrative,
it's going to be hard to keep that league MVP out of his hands. At number 2, I got Kevin Durant. And the reason why I got Kevin Durant is because, what we talking about here? This dude is 30-7. 30-7, right? 30-7, and Brooklyn is a game out of first place in the Eastern Conference. Mm-hmm. And that's primarily because of him. James Harden has been up and down this season,
True.
But the one guy who has not been up and down, KD.
Yep.
Pencil me in on a Tuesday for 30-7. On a Wednesday night, pencil me in for 30-7.
You ain't lying
no
about
questions
that.
asked. And at the number 1 spot, and like I just said, Milwaukee, I still think that the NBA championship goes through Milwaukee, and I think that the catalyst to that, and a lot of teams have had, not just a lot of teams, a lot of guys have had voter fatigue, but I think it's Giannis. 27, 28, 12, and 6, and they 2 games out of they're a game out of the 2nd seed, and they 2 games out of the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference.
I ain't scared of Giannis. Bring his ass on. The East
I'm
comes through Chicago.
They're gonna give you that. That's the team that's gonna. That if you can avoid them, I think that you're gonna be. I think you're gonna be hell in the East.
I'm not even worried about them. I'm more worried about Miami. I'm telling you, Miami terrifies me. I'm not worried about Giannis. I know
you're not.
We look. Everybody keep complaining about the post defense, right? Vooch ain't gonna be able to do nothing with it. I think, towards the All-Star break, towards the trade deadline, we're gonna make a move for somebody. I don't know who it is, but we need to address that deficiency in our team, right? Because guys like Embiid give us trouble. Jokers didn't really give us much trouble. Guys like Giannis, them downhill guys, is gonna give us trouble. So we do need to address that spot, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Perimeter D, everything else about the team, I love it. The shooting, rebounding, defense, everything, I love it. We just need to address that one spot that could take us to the next level.
And watch out, by the way, because Milwaukee they just let Boogie go. Don't be surprised if Boogie end up in Chicago.
Yeah, something like that.
Do not be surprised if Boogie because Boogie was playing really well for Milwaukee.
He was.
And for them to let him walk out the front door, I was thinking, wow.
Bobby Portis been balling, man. Bobby Portis, 3-and-D guy, energy guy. Mm-hmm. And that's who they've been, running things through, and it was just no space for him. So
I can appreciate
I'm
that.
surprised. I am surprised they let him walk like that, though. But damn it, we got space for him. We need a guy like that. Like, real talk.
Watch out.
Like, we need a guy like that. But let's move on to creating another lineup. Y'all know last episode we created a lineup for the NFL most underrated team, right? So this week on this episode, we gonna create one for the NBA. Same circumstances. Most underrated player in your opinion at each position. Point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center, and of course 6-man, right? What you got, Unc?
Well, I'm going to start the conversation with the man in the middle. Like we don't talk about Moses Malone nearly as much as we should. We talk about a 3-time league MVP who cleaned glass. That's all he did. Moses, not only did Moses clean glass, Moses was an all-league defender too. So I'm absolutely getting Moses on the box. No question about that. Before I get Moses on the box, I gotta shore up my 6-man, and I'm staying in Chicago because the Croatian sensation is my guy. Absolutely. The Croatian sensation is my guy. I love Benny Johnson. I love Jamal Crawford. I love Manu Ginobili. But when we talk about an underrated 6-man, the Croatian sensation was absolutely that guy. He's the guy coming off the bench for me. Absolutely.
That's a big lineup so far.
Oh, absolutely. He coming off the bench. I got Moses at the 5. At the 4, I want to talk about an underrated guy. You know, a lot of people talk a lot about Kevin Love was this and Chris Bosh that. Man, nobody talk about Tom Chambers. You want to talk about a dude who was just straight buckets, who was just going to give you hell? Super freak athlete, had a money mid-range game, and could shoot the long ball? Absolutely, Tom Chambers is at my 4 spot, no doubt. Well, at the 3 spot, we talk about underrated. I need a facilitator. And the most underrated small forward in the history of the NBA, in my opinion, Scottie Pippen. Absolutely. Right there, I got my boy Scottie Pippen at the 3. Scottie is running my offense. Scottie is facilitating. Scottie doing all the stuff that you need to do when he get off the peel and getting everybody involved. Absolutely. At the 2 guard, you know who we talk about. We talk about Jordan this. We talk about Bryant that. We talk about Brandon Roy this and all these great 2 guards. Nobody ever talks about Mitch Richmond. 26 a game for 7 straight years. Straight buckets.
Yeah.
Straight buckets. Michael Jordan said it.
I thought about Mitch Richmond too, man. I really did.
The toughest guy that I ever had to go against was Mitch Richmond. He gave Mike hell. Everything Mike was looking for. No doubt about it, he gave Mike hell. Now, at the point guard spot, this is the most underrated point guard in the history of the NBA, in my opinion, because the best defensive point guard that I've ever seen, and that would be Mr. GP Gary Payton. Absolutely, I got Gary Payton running my crew. So I got Gary Payton at the 1, Mitch Richmond at the 2, Scottie at the 3, I got Tom Chambers at the 4, I got Moses Malone at the 5, and I got the Croatian sensation coming off the bench. Come get me.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Chilltown's top underrated squad. Starting lineup.
Come get me.
I like it. Okay, my squad now. You went backwards. Let's go backwards. At the center, I got Arvydas Sabonis. A lot of y'all might not know who that guy is. Arvydas Sabonis spent majority of his time overseas, right?
He did.
You know, when he got to the NBA, he was late in his career, 31, 32 years of age. Wasn't as productive as he should have been, but he was still a bucket. Mid-range game, could shoot the long ball, had defense. Arvydas Sabonis could do everything. If you don't know who that guy is, that's Domantas Sabonis' father. Do your research. Look this guy up, right? At my 6-man, I'm going to stay home.
Think Joker. Think Joker. When you think about Arvydas Sabonis, think Joker. That's who Sabonis is.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm going to stay home with my 6-man, too. I'm going to go Ben Gordon. Won the award in his rookie season. A lot of people don't talk about BG as a 6-man. They were real quick to get BG out of Chicago after we drafted Derrick Rose. Like, oh, it may not work. We went to the playoffs though, man, and I think we could have made some noise if we would have held on to BG, not let him go to to Detroit. He screwed himself with that contract. But that's another story. At power forward, you mentioned him. Give me Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh was a complete animal. 24-10 before he got with LeBron James and turned into a spot-up shooter, corner shooter. Chris Bosh was a dog in Toronto, straight up. At my small forward.
Walking double-double.
Yeah, walking double-double. At my small forward, I'm going to take Mitch Richmond's running mate, man. I'm going to take Chris Mullin. A lot of people don't give Chris Mullin the respect that he deserves. I think Chris Mullin – look, I heard – Dennis Rodman say something particular about Larry Bird. Said if he was black, nobody would give a damn about what he was doing, right? I feel that way about Mitch Richmond. I feel like if Mitch Richmond was black, he'd probably get talked about a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? But because he was white, he gets thrown under the – you know what I'm saying? So
You mean Chris Mullin, not Mitch Richmond.
Yeah,
You mean
Chris Mullin.
Mullin.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Right. All right, I'm with you.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? I'm 5 years of 25, 5-5 for Chris Mullin, playing amongst other scorers, all-time greats. This man was a dog. Chris Mullin was a bucket. At my two guard, I got Clyde Drexler. It seemed like every time somebody mentioned Clyde Drexler, it's never in a positive light. Either they saying Jordan smoked them in the finals for 6 threes in the first half, or they saying he had to go ride the coattails of Hakeem to get a ring. Those are the two things that surround the criteria of a Clyde Drexler. And I'm here to tell you you're wrong. Clyde Drexler was a walking 24, 5-5, 24, 6-6. He was a guy that can rebound the ball well. He can assist the ball well. He can put the ball in the hoop, mid-range game. However you want it, he could give it to you. And I think Clyde Drexler is immensely underrated, partially because he played in the era with the greatest to ever do it at the same position. So I got Clyde Drexler. And at point guard, my favorite player, one of my favorite players of all time, and that's Baron Davis, B. Diddy. You know, I just like the grit, the leadership he brought. You know, that We Believe team was something to look at and remember. I just love me some Baron Davis. I really can't describe why I love Baron Davis so much. I just like that great size, 6'3", 6'4", bounce, great defensively, 3-and-D player, can handle the ball. Like, man had Skip to my Lou handles with a three-point shot and could leap like Vince Carter. Like, he was one of the most freakish athletic point guards of all time. If you don't know who
Dwayne Wade
is,
Dwayne Wade was asked, who did you have the toughest time with? He said, I couldn't do nothing with Baron Davis.
Yeah.
He said that. Dwayne Wade said that. I couldn't do nothing with Baron Davis. Of all the guys that I had to deal with in the NBA, I couldn't do nothing with Baron Davis. He gave me hell.
Man, I just enjoy watching Baron Davis so much, man, so much. But that's the show, y'all. That's the show. Let's get some questions from the fans. Let's rein them in. I'm going to start it off with a guy from YouTube, right? You know, we try to get to y'all, too. We try to show some love to YouTube, too. Let's see. Let me see if I can find this question. He asked me a question. If you guys, you know, aren't following us on YouTube, you know, drop us a follow, subscribe to the channel, y'all. You know, all that good stuff, right? We try to get to everybody. But he asked me a question on YouTube and asked me to answer it on the show. So that's what I'm going to get to first, right? Shout out to Troy Perry. He says, great. Let me emphasize, great podcast today. I'm excited to hear what y'all got to say, especially with the playoffs coming up in both sports, right? Then he said, also, I got a question for the next show, maybe. If Giannis wins the finals and the finals MVP this season, is he better all time than Kawhi Leonard? Because I got the Bucks and the Bulls coming out of the East this year. What you think about that, huh?
Well, when I think about what Leonard has done, Leonard has been on teams that were already those teams. Giannis is on a team that was built around him. And he was that guy from the beginning. He became that guy. So we're talking about a guy in Kawhi Leonard. You know, the year that he won the Finals MVP in San Antonio, he averaged 14 a game. Mm-hmm. Right? He averaged 14 a game in the playoffs. He averaged 14 a game. Now, he gets on that Toronto team, which is also a piece away, and he's the missing piece. I mean, he averaged 27 a game that year. He averaged 30 a game in the playoffs. Giannis is a guy who they built that unit around him, and he came back better after they lost to Toronto in the East Finals in 19. Giannis came back better, and then he came back better the next year. So if Giannis were to do what you just said, let's take it a step further than that. We got to start having the conversation, because I think that he's 27 now. I think Giannis got another 5-6 years at this level before he starts slowing down.
Maybe.
If he continues to do what he's doing and do what you just said, winning another Finals MVP and the NBA championship, we got to start seriously having a conversation about Giannis being a top 10 player. We have to start having that conversation.
I'm not mad at it, man. With the numbers that he's piling up,
start having that.
The accolades.
We have to start having that conversation.
See, the thing about Kawhi Leonard that everybody is so wrapped around, right? The fact that he won in 3 different places. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Kawhi Leonard winning in all of these different locations. It's like, man, he everywhere he goes is just great. You know, he's terrific. Kawhi Leonard is that dude. You know, this and that. The Finals MVPs and all of this. It's like, especially the Toronto win. The Toronto win put everybody on notice with Kawhi. It's like, man, Kawhi Leonard, man, like he's that dude. So people hang tight to Kawhi Leonard winning those championships and those finals MVPs. Even though his all-time numbers ain't all that, his career numbers ain't all that, on a per-game basis, he's not bad at all. But Giannis has an opportunity to not only pile him up on a per-game basis, but also pile him up career-wise because he's healthy, he's sustainable, he doesn't miss games. And if Giannis was to get another finals MVP, I already got him right now as the top 10, top 5 power forward of all time, 5th. He's climbing that ladder. Like if he could do what Karl Malone couldn't do twice, even though Karl Malone was one of those guys that was able to stay healthy, who I have as the second greatest power forward of all time, definitely he'll pass up Dirk. So it's gonna be tough to say, but let's rein them in. Let's see what y'all got.
Most underrated rivalry in NBA history. I'll tell you what it is, Tammy. And I'm going back to the 80s. Nobody talks about, the Lakers saw the Philadelphia 76ers 3 times in 4 years. And the Lakers got swept by the Philadelphia 76ers in 83 when they got Moses. Up until that point, Doc couldn't do it. And not only could he not do it, those series were awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Those series were absolutely awesome. Magic being a rookie, Jabbar getting hurt, and Magic being a rookie and winning an NBA championship 3 years later in 82. Him being basically ousted after Paul Westhead got fired and then playing against the 76ers again in the finals and then beating them again. And then the next year they get Moses and they sweep the Lakers. That was an intense rivalry. Big time.
No doubt about that. No doubt about that one. Tammy 2000 says, who's the best UFC fighter in the game? It's definitely John Bones, even though he ain't fought in a few years. But if we're talking about right now, recent fighters, Amanda Nunes just took a L. I don't know who I would put at the top of probably Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman right now is probably the best UFC fighter in the world right now. He's been holding it down for the welterweight division, and I think he might be the best. Who wins in a fight, Prime Ali or Tyson Fury? Is that even a question?
I'm playing, man.
That's not even a question.
No, not even a question. Absolutely not. No. So, who could use Cat? That's a good question. Minnesota could use him. Chicago could absolutely use him. All. Yeah, I love Cat in Portland too. I love him. I love him in Portland with Dame. Yeah,
that'd be nice.
I love him in Portland, no doubt about that. And whatever they would have to give up, sure, do it. No doubt.
What's the best movie ever? I don't know about the best, but my favorite movie is the Rocky series, 1 through 5 plus the 3 they made after that. Rocky's my favorite movie. What about you, Unc? What's your favorite movie?
Oh, my favorite movie, which was filmed in Chicago, The Negotiator. Oh man, I'm a huge Sam Jackson fan.
Never seen that.
I love it. Oh, go watch that. Sam Jackson plays a guy named Danny Roman who's getting set up. He's a cop, and his best friend gets shot. And he getting set up. So
I'm gonna check
and it was
that
filmed.
out.
It was filmed in Chicago.
That's what's
Matter
up.
of fact, hold on. But before we go any further, let me show it to my man so he'll know what I'm talking about here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you got it on hand. The Negotiator. That look like Steven Seagal. Who is that?
Oh, it's Kevin Spacey.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, it was filmed in Chicago.
Sam Jackson and Kevin Spacey. Okay.
And it was filmed. You're gonna dig it. You'll absolutely.
I'm gonna check it out tomorrow.
Yeah,
no doubt.
The
Negotiator.
You're gonna love it. Yeah, no doubt about that.
I'm definitely. Mark Price is underrated. Definitely underrated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Y'all didn't talk about Antonio Brown. We talked about Antonio Brown the last show. We like to keep Fridays basketball based. We probably could have threw him in there about the new information that was brought up. Which changes some things in my opinion. If everything checks out to be 100% true, his ankle was hurt, but AB is AB, man. He gonna do whatever. I went to bat for AB for too long. I need to just fall back because at this point I don't know what to believe.
I'm just to be honest with you, Beast. When Tom Brady vouches for you,
yeah,
right? When Tom Brady vouches for you, and we ain't even talking about Tom Brady as the football player, how great he is as a quarterback. We talking about the man, Tom Brady. When he vouches for you and you screw it up, I'm out.
I'm out. Like,
I'm out.
Like if you could do that to Brady, who else could you do it with? Like,
I'm out. Mm-mm.
Who's better
out,
at
yo.
locking up superstars, Scotty, Kawhi, or Sidney Moncrief?
Well, the one guy that I have to think about off the top of my head, I just loved how Scotty just threw guys off rhythm. He kept the ball away from you. He was incredible in ball pressure. Leonard had stretches, and Leonard made it difficult on you. Leonard was a great rim protector. Scotty just threw a monkey wrench in your whole O.
Mm-hmm.
He completely threw a monkey wrench. Prime example would be that 98 Eastern Conference Championship against Indiana when Mark Jackson finds out that I got this 6'9" dude chasing me from baseline to baseline. Man, come get this Doberman off me. Somebody, come get this dude off me.
Yeah.
I got this dude chasing me around. Forget it, man. I don't want that dude dealing with me. Nah.
So we took it home. Chicago won. I ain't peeped that. I came down here, so we won. Who we played? We played somebody decent tonight too. I think we played Washington.
I'll tell you right now who y'all had tonight. I'll tell you right now who the Bulls ran up on tonight. Right now, who did the Bulls have to see? Yeah, they played Washington tonight.
Well, we beat them. Was it convincing or was it a close game?
You handled them.
Okay.
Handled them. Yep. No doubt. So,
real talk.
Yeah.
Take it home. Real talk. Hey, we going to get on up out of here, man. We appreciate every one of you that join in and tune in every Tuesday night, Friday night. You can catch us here on the Sports Behavior Podcast, 8 p.m. Central Time. W's in the chat if you enjoyed yourself. All the regulars, drop us a follow and subscribe on social media, all platforms. I'm OG the Beast. That's Chilltown 32. Take us home.
Take it light, but take it.
Appreciate y'all.